Our role model of today is Lisa Gordon. Lisa, you lead with transformation, tools, and inspiration. As a trainer, facilitator, speaker, and consultant, as well as the co author of the book, The Diamond from Within, Overcoming Obstacles in Life and Business, you support leadership change, living your purpose to think, lead, impact, and empower differently, both ourselves, right, and others. And you are one of San Diego's top 50 women over 50. And your website is lisainspires.com so people can find you. Welcome, Lisa, and thank you for leading by example on WeCan. Talk to us about what really matters to you and how you want to matter.
Absolutely. I'm just so excited to be with you today to share and to inspire anyone out there who's maybe struggling with their leadership, who's struggling with their careers. And so, uh, my business is called Lisa Inspires. And so I really feel like that is my purpose. And so I've created a business where my tagline really is inspiring people, inspiring change, whether that be in your life or your career. And so what matters to me is reaching people where they are and figuring out a path or plan for growth, figuring out a path or plan for advancement, figuring out the best way to lead and what you need to change so that you can grow and be the best leader you can be at work, at home, and in life.
Lisa, so talk to us about those pivotal points that you feel led you to where you are today with Lisa Inspires.
Oh, wow. What a story. I've had a very adventurous, gosh, career in a nutshell, and then I will kind of zoom out. In a nutshell, I have, gosh, been a communications professional, communications executive. I've worked on behalf of a mayor, a city, a school district, a nonprofit organization, a retail establishment, a radio station, a public agency, and thousands of small businesses. So I have been there and done that, changed my career probably 10 times. And I've actually loved that. I love that my career has been so adventurous. And I think it's because of what I did early on is taking ownership and really thinking about what skills I needed to develop to advance. And so I did that, took that ownership really early. And as a result of sharpening my skills, I became seen. I became known. And I started to advance in my career. People kept asking me, can you do this? Can you do that? Right. And I just said yes. I just kept saying yes. And I didn't really have a specific plan about what I was going to do. I just knew it was going to be within the communications arena. So again, I just kept saying yes. And as a result of all of that, I advanced rather quickly. Have been promoted in almost every single job I've held, and I've been promoted within 6 months to a year of being hired. And so I went on to work in education and worked in government. And working in government was the last job I had before I launched Lisa Inspires. And here is the backstory to that. Uh, I I had worked in the mayor's office, and then before the mayor left, I was create this new position was created, and so I was the small business ambassador for the entire city, and it was really exciting. And I ended up being sent into the economic development department, and eventually I became kind of burned out and I wanted to advance and go to a whole nother level. And unfortunately, I didn't have the best boss. And I really felt like I was being held back. And my stilettos, I call it my stilettos, were stuck up against the glass ceiling. And so at that point, I decided I think I'll go get my master's degree. And at the age of 50, I went and pursued my master's degree in organizational leadership. And that was one of the best things I've ever done with my life and my career, because the unthinkable happened. As I was just finishing up my master's degree, and that was I was laid off. I was laid off, and thank goodness I had been preparing myself. And that master's degree is what propelled me and compelled me to launch my business, Lisa Inspires, inspiring people, inspiring change. And I focused on emotional intelligence, conflict, and what it takes to make a great leader. And then started focusing my business on how I can help women advance in their careers. So that's my story, and I'm
Lisa,
sticking
I
to it.
love it. I love it, and I think it's the story of many, right? We always, when most young people that I speak to at schools or universities, they always think it's a linear path, and it just isn't. People change careers all the time, and actually it's an invigorating thing often, and you learn many more things. So share with us the main insights into your change and transformation work. What would you say are the sort of takeaways of the last years?
Wow. Uh, I couple things. One is I think people aren't paying enough attention to their emotions.
Mm,
And that's why I decided to focus on emotional intelligence, because I had leaders that were not emotionally intelligent. And for a while, I just could not figure out, pinpoint what was wrong, right? With my leader, with my boss, and why weren't things working out? Uh, and so I think that we have suppressed our emotions so long in the workplace,
mm,
that we've had an explosion of emotion now. If you think about the pandemic and what that did to, gosh, our country, our world, society, and it was because we weren't paying attention to our emotions and what we really feel and think, and we were suppressing for so long, they exploded, right? And so that's why I wanted to focus people on emotional intelligence and how that can be your superpower. If you really focus on what that is and leverage that, that could be your superpower to improving your relationships, to improving productivity, to improving performance, and so many great things. In addition, I think focusing on conflict, because we have a lot of conflict in our workplace, in our society, in our world, and having people shift how they approach conflict
mm,
has been, I think, a very interesting insight, something that I've really focused on, because that's helped a lot of people change how they communicate.
mm,
So I think those two things, as well as just leadership in general, and really taking the time to figure out what is your leadership style, how is your leadership impacting, and having that paradigm shift of it's not about you, it's about your people. And thinking about how do I best lead my people. And so you got to know them, you got to be emotionally intelligent, and you got to also rally them around the mission and vision of what you're trying to achieve.
Lisa, so give us some top tips on navigating conflict in the workplace. And I'm sure those tips also work for relationships, right? The relationships we hold, but also can be magnified out into the world, in a world where we feel there is a ton of conflict right now.
Yes. Well, my interest in that, I really didn't figure this out till I was pursuing my master's degree. But I was a conflict avoider
Me
for
too.
so many years of my life. And I think a lot of women are. Unfortunately, we tend to be conflict avoiders, and there's, good reason for that. Uh, so when I studied what conflict really is, uh, there was a shift in my thinking, and now I run to conflict and figure out how do I best approach it. I think it was learning and understanding the truth about conflict that made the difference. Uh, one of the truths about conflicts is it's inevitable, right? Conflict is gonna happen, right? So we got to think about how we approach it. It's gonna happen. It's everywhere, right? It's in our being. It's in, right? It's in us physically. It's out in the world. It's in our environment. And so it's inevitable. Uh, so we got to think about that, and that becomes more of a accepting that it's inevitable, right? And that it's going to happen. One of the other truths about conflict is it can, it could bring us together or it can pull us apart, right? So you have to decide what, what is this conflict? What am I going to do in this conflict? Am I going to choose to compromise? Am I going to choose to collaborate? Am I going to compete in this conflict? So, what are the different ways in which I can approach this conflict and be more proactive in the conflict? So those are just some of the things I think of ways that I think about conflict. Uh, and how I think people need to kind of shift it because it can be very empowering and it can help you actually strengthen your relationships if you're willing to do the work.
Mm. Lisa, so awareness, right? You need to have awareness around, you need to be more intentional. What
Yes.
what are some other tools that we can sort of give to folks who are listening?
Um, I think some of the things a couple other things about, um, I would say is that I've kind of covered emotional intelligence. I kind of covered conflict. I think helping women kind of rethink their careers
Mm,
and how to position themselves and really realizing the gifts and what they have to offer to contribute to really to the workplace and beyond. I think we sell ourselves short, unfortunately. And so I think it's realizing our gifts, harnessing that, and thinking about how to lead from the edge.
mm,
I have this kind of mind shift with giving women the platform and positioning of leading from the edge. And when you think about leading, being on the edge of your seat, right? You are kind of in the moment and you're excited about what's going to happen next, right? And so I want to bring that energy back to women where where was the moment in time that you felt in your career that you felt
mm,
excited and you were, thinking about what's next, right? And so once you start kind of having that edge mindset, it could be the crux or the moment in time where you decide to do new things with your career, where you decide to change your path, where you really decide to take ownership about your next step. So I think those are some of the tips I could offer with women in leadership and positioning yourself for advancement.
Lisa, and the other thing you do a lot is helping people find their purpose, live their purpose, right? Which always sounds so beautiful. And once you find it, it's sort of the motor, right? This is your motor, and you point your needle in the direction, and you keep walking towards it. But when I talk to young people, often this word purpose is actually scary for them because they simply don't know, and then it creates a whole lot of anxiety. So, what tips or advice would you have for young people around living your purpose?
Yeah, I think figuring out what lights you up,
Mm,
what gives you energy, what makes you feel excited to go help people do, right? Um, and then another way you could think of it is if you were at the end of your life and you're looking back at what you did and the contributions you made and the impact that you had, right? That may help you see what is your purpose. Um, because that looking back, you're looking backwards, right? Right. Uh, that helps you figure out what you want to do with your life so that you get to the end and you feel fulfilled, and you feel like you've achieved your purpose.
Yeah. Lisa, so what happens if someone is listening and thinks, gosh, I think I need to recharge my leadership style? How does it work? How do people work with you?
Absolutely. So, a couple of things I could do. One is I do offer some workshops and I do
Yeah.
offer a master class. So I do have a career advancement workshop that is a 3 hour workshop, and it will really give you the opportunity to get clarity around what you want to do and how you want to advance. And so it's a really jam-packed 3 hours where we're going to come up with a mini action plan for your path to advancement. And then I have the 6 hour version of that, which is the master class. And we really go deep into who you are, what you want, what your gifts are, but also we create a presentation in which you are going to present to your leadership, to kind of give them insight into your passion to advance at work. And then we will also create a really extensive action plan for that as well. So those are two things that I'm really excited about offering, uh, actually coming up next month.
Amazing, Lisa. Everyone go to lisainspires.com if this resonates. Lisa, what would you say are your sort of main motivators?
My main motivators, gosh, I think a couple of things. My faith, um, just what I've been brought up to believe, which is my parents, my parental influence, and my purpose. And I
Mm.
really feel clear about my purpose and that I've been put on this planet to inspire people, inspire change, and help them be who they want to be and go pursue those goals, pursue those objectives.
Lisa, and what does success look like for you?
Success to me is fulfillment, feeling good about what you're doing. It's balance emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially. It's doing what you love
Mm.
and feeling like you've made a positive impact on the people around you and beyond. That's what success means to me.
Lisa, I'm wondering, what do you feel are the biggest changes that you see in yourself since you're doing this work?
Well, funny you should ask because I'm so hard on myself. I am so hard on myself. And so I have this interesting dynamic that's always been going on throughout my life, which is I'm a perfectionist, but I also have had the not enough syndrome.
Mm.
So I'm just like trying to be perfect in everything I do, and then I do it, and then still somehow I'm feeling like I'm not enough. Right. And so, that's why I've always kind of been striving and achieving, really having, uh, this standard of excellence in everything, and then yet feeling like it's not enough.
Mm.
And so, what I've learned about myself in, starting this business and doing what I do and trying to work with leaders and women, I've learned that I am enough and that I can help people also who are struggling with that. And again, be who they need to be and feel satisfied and fulfilled in that.
And Lisa, I think that's an affliction of many. And I always think, especially women. And I see that
Yes,
when women do work around it, it's not that it falls away, because it's also a good thing. It takes you to where you are today. But it's just learning to be kinder with ourselves and give ourselves more grace and,
absolutely.
yeah, have more intention around it and so on. So, Lisa, how can we support you?
Well, I thank you for asking. I am really focused on speaking engagements, and I would love to come speak anywhere in the world. And I have, the topics that I typically cover are emotional intelligence,
Mm,
uh, conflict management, leading from the edge. I also am writing a book, uh,
amazing.
which will be coming out this year about women leaders, women leadership, and really clarifying your path to advancement. And so I'm excited about releasing that book this year. And then again, the career advancement workshop, whether it's that 3 hour workshop or the 6 hour masterclass,
Yeah.
I would love to see women have that experience of that to really kind of change, I think, significantly impact uh, their lives and careers.
Mm. Lisa, if you could write a little postcard to every human on this planet, what would it say on there?
Oh, what a beautiful question. Believe in yourself,
Mm,
have faith, and you are enough.
yeah, beautiful. So, what are your plans and goals, Lisa? You already told us about the workshops and the book you're writing. Any other plans in 2026 and beyond?
Oh my goodness. Really, it's, once that book hits, I want to take that on tour and I want to go anywhere and everywhere to shout from the mountaintops to help women in their careers. And again, I want to speak wherever I can to help people with their emotional intelligence, managing conflict, leading from the edge, help women leaders. Uh, that's that's a vision. I also have a couple other books in the works. One's a poetry book. I have a children's book, and I'm also writing my family history book. So that's what's in store for 2026.
Lisa, you seem just is pouring out of you.
Yes, indeed. It's
Lisa,
my time. It's my season to pour out.
yeah, amazing. So,
Thank
what
you.
takeaways would you like our listeners to have from your story, Lisa?
Oh, so many different takeaways there. But for those that are, let's say, more seasoned, you can change your life. You can change your career. You can go back to school at 50
Mm,
and be successful. So I want to encourage you there. Uh, Mid-level, women that are in mid-level in the middle of their career, feeling stuck, uh, feeling like they have their stiletto stuck up against the glass ceiling, feeling frustrated that they're not advancing. You have it in you. You can do it. And I'm here to help you figure out that path if you need assistance. Um, and I just think we need to believe in ourselves in general. Everyone needs to just believe in themselves a little bit more, follow their intuition, and tap into that emotional intelligence because
mm,
I think that's emotional intelligence is underrated. And I think it's a little misunderstood. And if you really tap into using that, that can make a big difference at home. It can make a big
mm.
difference at work and in your community and beyond.
Lisa, and how do you feel one can tap into that emotional intelligence a little bit more?
It's about becoming more self-aware,
Mm,
and it's about, I call this thinking about your thinking. You have to spend a little more time thinking about, why am I thinking this right now? Why am I feeling this right now? Oh, I get it. I'm thinking that or feeling emotional because of X, Y, and Z, because of
mm,
something that happened in the past, because of some recurring situation or circumstance, and then realizing that. So then you don't react in a negative way, right? Or in a way that might be embarrassing, right? So it's really that self-awareness and taking, honoring the emotion,
mm,
right? Good or bad, because sometimes we have bad, right?
mm.
And then figuring out how to respond appropriately versus reacting. Um, that's what I would say about that emotional intelligence thing. It's much more than people think. We just need to be more self-aware and manage ourselves. And I call this, so we check ourselves so we don't wreck ourselves.
Yes, gosh, what a good saying. I think what a great way to end, Lisa. Amazing mantra. Let's make that our mantra. And I would love for everyone to just think about your conflicts in your life, how you could recharge your leadership, where are you with emotional intelligence, and check out lisainspires.com.
Thank you so very much. It's been my pleasure being on your